Hey guys, Chris here. In this video, I'm going to give you guys an exterior and interior tour of the Kia EV6 GT line all-wheel drive. And also, before we kick off the video, this video is sponsored by Zaptec with their Zaptec Go home charger. The Zaptec Go is a sleek, small, and stylish home charger that you can purchase from one of the links down below. And also, if you live in Norway and if you use the discount code ZAPRIFA, you will get 10% off your purchase. Let's start off with the exterior, and I think the EV6 in this white paint color and on these 20-inch Aeroblade wheels looks pretty darn cool. These wheels do look like they're carbon fiber from a distance. They have that pattern, but once you get closer, you can just see it's just, these streaks, this streak pattern, and they are not actually carbon fiber, but I think they look cool nonetheless. These are 20 inches, 255 45 20s, and this car is also on some Nokian Hakkapeliitta R3 winter tires since, well, we are in the middle of December and you guys can see it is icy and snowy around here, so I hope I don't fall and hit myself. But as I said, the exterior is pretty nice on the EV6. I do like the exterior styling. It has, this sleek aerodynamic body style where it has this fastback raking rear roof. And remember guys, this car is closely related to the Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's on the same eGMP electric car platform, the same 800 volt architecture, but it does have a little bit bigger battery pack. So this being the long range all-wheel drive has 77.4 kilowatt hours versus the Ioniq 5's long range all-wheel drive only having 72.6 kilowatt hours. I don't know why there's such a difference in those two. It's about 5 kilowatt hours, but there is a difference. And if you want to check out the range and the efficiency, check out my last video, the motorway range test with this car. But enough about that. This video is all about how this car looks on the exterior and on the interior. This being the GT line, this is the top trim. There is a model above this called the GT, but that, isn't out yet and also has, more performance. I think it's like 525 horsepower or something like that. This has like 325. So this is the top trim now. The big battery, the long range, the all-wheel drive, and also the GT line being the trim level. So in white, I think this thing actually looks better than the Hyundai Ioniq 5. This is one of the cars that doesn't look too good in pictures, but in person, it looks very sleek. And I do like the front end with these, sharp LED headlight designs. Look how they, the DRLs on the top and on the bottom there of the light housing just meet there at the front, in the grille. I do think this looks pretty sharp, and with the creases and angles, and yeah, look at that front bumper, how deep that goes. I think it looks very nice and very sporty. This does have a very different look to it than the Hyundai Ioniq 5, and of course that will be preference. On pictures, or in pictures, I think the Ioniq 5 looks better, but in person I think this just looks very nice. And as you guys can see from this side, they market this as like an SUV or a crossover, but it really just is a big station wagon. If you can see that, it's not, too high off the ground, and also, the height of the car isn't that much. So let's move around to the other side here. You can see some chrome details on the bottom part. This has also a lot of black details, which I think look pretty nice. And then you can see also it has like a clamshell hood here. This being the all-wheel drive version, it has a trunk that is leftable, so I'm not even going to show you that. I mean, there's barely, room for gloves now in winter. This car also has blacked out mirrors, black details around the windows, and then you have these flush door handles. The car's not running because it is cold outside. And these do, become flush with the body when you start driving, which is pretty nice. You have black detailing on the bottom part of the door, which is, just brings the design together, makes the car look maybe a little bit lower and more compact than it actually is. And then moving over to the rear end, these are one of the parts that in person looks much better than it does in photo and on video. You have this wraparound, rear LED light that just brings the design together, and this is quite deep, the design here, like a 3D design. Just look how that curves inward, and then you have this bottom part which looks like to be reflectors. And yeah, I just think it looks very, very nice. It is a much sportier design than the Hyundai Ioniq 5, and I keep comparing it to that car because this is just a showcase of how you can take one platform, you can make two different cars from, you know, the same, well, at least corporate manufacturer. These are sister brands or cousin brands, and make them look so different. But there is, you know, a little bit of parts and platform sharing. We're going to see that once we step into the inside. You also have the brand new Kia logo that came with the EV6. Other Kias are now getting this, and I think it looks pretty nice. It's like aluminum trim. It has this aluminum brushed effect. It looks pretty nice. And then you have the EV6 badging down there. That also looks nice. GT line being the trim. And then on the rear right side of the car, you do have the charging port. Are we able to open this while the car is running? Nope. Yeah, there we go. You just have to press it hard enough. So it opens up like that, and this is very nice. It shows you the state of charge here, just in quarters. So each of these are 25%. I think we're at like 42 now, so it's going to show you close to 50. But this is very practical, because once you connect here with the CCS charger, you have to open up that. You will get an indication if the car starts charging from here. This will light up actually, so that is pretty nice. And then you can close that, and then you can close the flap like that. So guys, let me know what you think about the design of the EV6 in the comment section down below. To be honest guys, it's actually one of my favorite exterior designs in this class of vehicle. It takes something which is meant to be, you know, a family car, and just, you know, makes it a little bit more exciting. I do like, you know, the floating roof design here, the rear spoiler, and also, you know, the spoiler here, which is made out of the rear light bar. It just looks, it looks pretty nice. I do like the look of it, you know, stepping back from it, the overall silhouette. I think they made it work very well. Before we take a step inside, I want to show you guys the key of the EV6. It looks like this. It's black plastic with a little bit of chrome here on the side. You have your lock, unlock, and then you have your trunk release there, and then you have these buttons which will let you park the car in and out of tight spaces. I'm not going to show you guys that. I will do that later on in the review that will be out later out this week or early next week. So if you don't want to miss out on that video, guys, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, and also drop a like on this video if you're liking the content. But this car is keyless go, keyless entry. The car is now running. That's why the door handles are now popped out. But if you were to walk up to an unlocked car, just keep your key in your pocket, and once walking up, the car would actually pop out the door handles and unlock the car. That is pretty nice. And also, to lock the car, you just put your finger here on this indentation. You can hear the car's beeping at us. It's indicating that the ignition is on, so it won't actually let us, you know, lock the car. But to my disappointment, you can't lock or unlock the car from the rear doors. You don't have that indentation. A lot of cars have that, but, you know, usually a little bit cheaper cars only have it on the front doors. That would be very welcome, but I mean, it's totally fine at this price point. And also, these door handles would be flush with the body once locking the car. So opening up the front door, this is the GT line. So this is the top trim. It has this nice Alcantara, you know, microfiber cloth interior. These seats are ventilated, they are heated, and you also have this white, you know, leather or leatherette on the border of the seats, and also this white contrast stitching. It looks pretty nice. So we have the front doors, and also, before I show you guys that, this seat is fully electrical. Up and down, you have a lot of motion, and you also have lumbar support there. And actually, these seats are much more comfortable to my body, fit my body shape much better, and I find it much more comfortable than these seats in the Hyundai Ioniq 5. I just wanted to mention that. So we have the front door. This is what that looks like. Not too exciting. I have to say, I am a bit disappointed by the soft touch materials here, because they look pretty cheap and they also feel very cheap. But at least we have soft touch plastics. We have some insert here, some faux leather, and also here on the armrest, which is padded. I mean, they are okay, and materials are much better than something like a Volkswagen ID4, so I'm not complaining. You have some glossy black plastics here on the top portion of the door, which does look a little bit cheap. You have this plastic here, which looks cheap. You can see the seams here from the molding process. It's just a little bit, you know, not very nice, to put it that way. And you have some memory settings here for the seats. You have two memory settings, which is really nice for the electrically adjustable seats. You have your mirror settings here, lock unlock sequence, and also you have your automatic windows up and down, which are on the front windows, and also on the rear windows, and also you have your child lock there. You have some more glossy black plastics here, which you can see is already scratched. I'm not a fan of having that here. And then you have this material here, which is hard touch plastic, but matches the color on the seats. Hard touch plastics down below, to be expected at this price point. This has the Meridian upgraded sound system, which just gives this gunmetal finish on the speaker grill, which is nice. It just elevates the quality just a little bit. And also you have this, you know, carpeting on the inside of the door. So overall, the door is pretty nice, not too bad. I am not complaining. So let's take a step inside because it is a bit cold here, and I'll show you guys the rest of the interior. So once stepping into the EV6, you are presented by this 2-spoke steering wheel, and I do understand that may not be to the taste of everybody, but I actually like a 2-spoke steering wheel or a 4-spoke steering wheel, because not having a spoke down here in the middle means you can rest your hand here, and on long trips I like to rest my hand down here. So I actually find it pretty practical, and it is pretty nice. And something that's interesting, I noticed that it has this normal, you know, stitching here on the top portion, but not on the bottom portion. So that is pretty nice. So you have your controls here on the left side. You have your automatic cruise control, you have your lane keep assist, you have your auto steer, all the functions here, and then you also can change, you know, the screens up here, or the showing on the screen. This is a 12.3-inch screen, and this is also a 12.3-inch screen. I'm not going to dive too deep into the infotainment system here, but probably just going to show you a little bit here. On your right side, you have your audio controls, you have a programmable mode button, and then you can switch your track up and down here. You can do your volume, and you can do your phone, also your favorites button. And then you have your drive modes down here. So overall, it's a little bit overwhelming and at first, but once you get used to the steering wheel controls, it's easy enough to use. Not the most intuitive, not the easiest laid out, but it is easy enough once you get used to it. On the rear side of the steering wheel, you have these pedals, which will, you know, control your region. And once you start the car, it always defaults to your most aggressive setting, but it will not default to, if I push this one more time, and maybe if I push in the brake pedal, no. You have something called I pedal, which is like full one pedal driving, but it will not default to that, even though I stop the car. So that is once that you're level 1, 2, 3, and then up beyond 3 you have I pedal. So you have your, you know, your stocks here on the left side and on the right side, and in typical Kia Hyundai fashion, it's not the highest quality, but it is better than in other Kias I have seen recently. On the left side down here, you have your trunk buttons, you have your also your brightness of the interior lights, and also you can release the filler cap. It looks like a filler cap, but for your charging port. You also have your automatic handbrake here, and also have your cruise control, your e-brake. On top here you have this interesting material, which is a little bit soft to the touch, which has these streaks in it, or these stripes. It's an interesting material. And then you have a little bit of color over there on that side, and then you have this ambient lighting, which matches the streaks. Overall, I think this is an attractive interior. Again, it doesn't look too, you know, interesting in pictures, but once you're sitting here, especially with the screen wrapping around, it just looks and feels sporty. And then you have this panel below here. So quickly, I'm just going to show you guys some of the infotainment system, which defaults to this screen, and then you can go into your settings here. You have your home button here on the top left side. This is by far not my favorite infotainment system, not even close. I'd put this below average, because I mean, it's snappy and easy enough to use, but it's just too cumbersome. And I mean, it's snappy to use. The interface is relatively quick, but it's just a little bit cumbersomely laid out. Too many button presses, and also, you know, the navigation system doesn't have chargers and stuff like that. So for being an EV, it shows you like gas stations while driving and navigating to places. If you have the information here up on the right side, it will give you like, oh, in 10 kilometers there's a gas station. Why? This is an EV. So not one of my favorite infotainment systems. Is fine, it works nice enough, and also, you know, this has a lot of graphics that just show you a lot of information, but it's not useful in the way where it doesn't, you know, use the real estate in an interesting way. and I'm not a huge fan of the graphics. You can also not have a map view, which is also annoying. Like, I would like to have my map here somewhere. I mean, this is a 12.3-inch screen. You could put my map somewhere. So I don't think it's using the real estate to its best, but I do like that it has, you know, the battery percentage, you have your driving modes there, you have all the information here. And it may be a little bit overwhelming at first, but it is all there. But what I want to talk about here is that this screen is pretty interesting, because this is a touch capacitive screen with physical knobs here for doing your volume, now for doing your temperature. And then you have shortcut buttons here to you have 3 different auto settings for the climate control. All of this is really nice. This is one of the best, you know, HVAC controls I've seen. You know, a mixture of physical buttons and also touch capacitive buttons, and everything is clearly laid out. I like the fonts, and I like that it is also matte compared to the top here. It is really nice, and also does something interesting. So if you press this button, it changes. So now your temperature control is your volume knob. That is interesting. And then you have shortcut buttons here. I like that. That's pretty cool. But not only that, you also have your shortcut buttons here for your heated seats, your cooled seats, heated steering wheel. This is very welcome. I like this. So ergonomically wise, I like the way this cabin is set up, better than the high-end Ioniq 5. You have your on-off switch there, and also have your gear selector. And I do like that it sits here. It's this rotating knob key. I have done this in other cars. It looks cheap, it feels cheap, but it is actually okay to use. You have your shortcut to your 360 and backup cameras there. You have your auto hold, and then you also have your parking assistant there. Here you have a wireless charging pad, not the best placement, but it is okay. You also have 2 cup holders there, and also you have this removable cover, so you can have more storage. And then you have an armrest here, and then you have a large storage bin here. So overall, I think the front cabin is nicely laid out. I like the layout. And also you have some storage under here where you can put the bag. You also have, this is a single USB-C connector. You have your 12-volt connector there, and then you have another USB-C there, and then you have a USB-A. And then lastly, you have your glove compartment that looks like that. So overall, front cabin, pretty nice, though this car only comes with, this car only comes with a sunroof, not a panoramic roof. That's a bit weird in 2021. So let's take a look at the rear seats before we take a look at the trunk. So this not having, the panoramic sunroof, I don't know if that is actually an option. It is a little bit dark here in the rear, especially with the black interior. These white bits though does lighten it up a little bit. So rear doors, hard touch plastics. Though this insert here is the same faux leather, so it's not too bad. It's almost as matched as the front doors. You don't get that gunmetal finish though, but you do get carpeted inlays, and then you also have your heated seats on the door there, which is pretty nice. So you have the rear seats, and the Kia EV6 is spacious, just like the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Though I think these seats are not the best design, because even though they may be thin, they kind of eat up a little bit space here. It may be this section here where they just feel big. And also everything is hard touch plastic here. Are you able to adjust this rear seat? You can adjust the angle of the rear seat, but I don't think you're actually able to adjust them lengthwise like you can do in the Hyundai Ioniq 5, interestingly enough. You also have USB-C connectors here for the rear passengers. This does not have the rear seat climate package. I don't know if that's available here, but you don't have any HVAC controls there, and no, you have vents here though. The rear seat is flat, meaning that you have, you can see it 3 abreast here, but not with the child seat here. And then you have this armrest that folds down, and then you have some cup holders here, and then you have a ski through pass. Now lastly, let's take a look at the trunk. And as I said earlier in the video, you can open it with the button on the interior left of the steering wheel or on the key, but you also have a button here right next to the camera on the right side. It's not always the easiest to find, but once you hit it, the tailgate is electrically operated. The trunk is not the biggest, but neither the smallest either. It sits in the middle at 490 liters, but you also have limited storage below, well, the floor here. But you can split and lay down the rear seats to, well, give it a much larger storage cargo compartment. But it's not the biggest above the beltline either because of that raking rear roof. And also here you have the button to close it, and it will beep at you, being an electrically operated tailgate. So there we go, guys. That was the exterior and interior tour of this, the Kia EV6 GT line all-wheel drive. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, guys, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.